This is Time Warner Cable's Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance. We are joined by Steve Bradford, member of the California State Assembly. And sir, I'm sure you know that over the summer there was a decision out of Orange County by a George W. Bush appointee where the LA federal court ruled that the California death penalty was unconstitutional.
True.
Reason? The death penalty was never meted out, and as a result, it was cruel and unusual punishment. What do you think?
Well, you're finding people who are on death row for 20, 30, 40 years, and that in and of itself they feel is cruel and unusual punishment. I think the judge is really trying to get to how do you streamline this process where taxpayers' dollars aren't involved, but at the same time those individuals just don't sit in a cell for the rest of their lives.
He had some pretty pithy lines. Yeah. He called the death penalty in California life in prison with the remote possibility of death. Yeah. You know, you look at the number of individuals convicted and sentenced to death since 1978 when the death penalty came back, more than 900, yet 13 have been executed. For every one inmate executed, 7 have died of natural causes. So his view is, at this point, there's no deterrent effect.
I was just about to say that.
Right.
I mean, I'm not a proponent of the death penalty in a strong way, but again, it's not a deterrent if you're not executing those folks who are being found guilty and sentenced to the death penalty.
And at the same time, if the motivation is retribution, there's no retributive effect because they're not being... At the same time, sir, you know what's been happening around the country with these botched executions. In Oklahoma, there was one recently, I believe it was in Arizona. I mean, these are, you know, I'm not taking a position on the death penalty, but these are grisly scenes.
They are.
Collapsing veins. I guess the one in Arizona, I believe they wound up giving him like 15 doses. Something's, I don't know what's going on.
It was well over an hour before this individual died.
It was almost 2 hours.
Exactly. So it was, that's in itself is cruel and unusual punishment.
And then I keep getting reports about one particular case out of Texas where the evidence seems to suggest overwhelmingly that this individual, I believe his name was Carlos de Luna, was not the perpetrator of the murder and was executed.
Exactly.
And so that really can be an issue.
And that's what gives me reason for wanting to halt or re-examine the death penalty, and until we can be absolutely positively sure that the individuals who are giving life have definitely committed to crime, because we're executing innocent people. It's been proven, and the Justice Project is
right. What's interesting as well is, you know, a couple of years ago there was an initiative on the ballot to eliminate the death penalty. It lost, but it lost, I guess, 48-52. But that is way, way, way different than the 90s when California was in support of the death penalty 60, 70, 80%. So it does seem as if there's a shift. And lots of states, even redder states, are re-examining the death penalty. Do you expect that here?
I hope so. I mean, I know it's a discussion that's going on amongst many of my colleagues. I mean, again, the legislation that we've had over the last couple of years has looked at the death penalty and how we can amend that, as well as other what we found cruel and unusual, LWOP for teenagers, life without parole. I mean, so we're looking at that whole criminal justice system, but yeah, definitely the death penalty, and until we can be 100% sure that we have that perpetrator.
And then there's the issue of boys and men of color who statistics suggest are just at a greater risk of being given the death sentence as opposed to, you know, their Anglo counterparts.
The numbers are alarming, and even to the point not just of color but of economic status. We've found that of the 700 or so people on death penalty, only one had private counsel. Most of them have court-appointed lawyers.
His name is Steve Bradford. He is a member of the California State Assembly representing portions of Los Angeles County. My name is Brad Pomerance. I want to thank you so much for watching Time Warner Cable's Local Edition.